Hello everyone, this is My Stocks For You, and today I'm going to be talking about something very important. Today I'm going to be going over when to sell. In the past I've talked about when to buy, using the oversold weekly stochastics method. Using this method you can determine exactly where to buy, but if you don't know when to sell, then you are going to be limiting yourself to the possible gains. Even if you buy at the exact low, the exact point that you should buy, if you don't know when to sell, you could ultimately turn this positive gain into a negative, a net loss. So there's three methods that I like to use to determine when to sell. First and foremost, if I'm satisfied with my gains that I've made, then that to me is a good indicator for me to sell. Even if the stock continues to grow afterwards, I'm still satisfied with what I've made. I'm not going to be overzealous or greedy about trying to make more money off of it. I'm satisfied with it, then there's absolutely no shame in selling it and taking your gain. And then you can just turn around and put that gain and the money that you had into a new stock. So that's my first thing. My first point is don't be too greedy. Don't be overzealous about how much money you're going to make on a stock. If you're happy with your gains, there's no problem with selling it. So the second point is using kind of the opposite idea of the oversold weekly stochastics, is using the overbought weekly stochastics to determine when to sell. So all I do is mark the area when it goes overbought. So when it goes over this green line, which is 80, that's considered overbought. So I'll highlight it. It overlays to the daily, and when the daily and the weekly stochastics are overbought, that is your indicator to sell. So as you can see, it's right around May 17th, that time frame. That's when they both go overbought, and that would be the perfect time to sell. And as you can tell, it's right at the top of the climb. You're trying to maximize your gains within the time frame, within a short amount of time. So you held your stock for about 2 months. You made a solid gain. That's awesome. You can sell it. Perfect time, and it seems to work out like this very consistently. When you're using this method, it works out very well. You generally are able to make or sell your stock almost at the top of its gain. And if it continues to grow, like I said earlier, it's no problem, because then you can always just buy into the next stock and do the exact same thing. So that is the second method. And the third method is trying to establish an upward channel, which you can see on EDU. It can be a little bit more difficult and takes more time. So, but once you're able to establish it, you can really determine when to sell. And you use the support line to do that. When the stock breaks the support line, that is a very good indicator that the stock is going to exit its uptrend and go into either a horizontal channel or go into a downtrend. But it's usually a very good indicator to determine when to sell. So if you had sold it here, that would have been a great point. You would have made a solid gain. Or if you had held on to it and it broke past the support line right here, also you would have made a solid gain, and I'm sure you would have been satisfied. But it's usually a pretty good indicator as to when to sell. Now HDB, similar to HTH, using the overbought weekly stochastics method. I just highlighted the weekly stochastics when they went overbought on HDB, overlays to the daily, and you can see this is the time frame when they're both overbought, and that would have been almost the perfect time to sell, and you would have sold before it broke back down. So you just have to make sure to follow your rules, establish them, figure out what you like, what works for you. But this is what I like to use. Those are the three rules. Selling your stock when you're satisfied with your gains. There's no shame in it. Don't be greedy. if you're happy with it, you can sell it. Using the overbought weekly stochastics method, you can determine when to sell. That's the second way. And the third way is using the upward channel. You establish an upward channel, and when it breaks the support line, it's usually a very good indicator that it's going to exit its uptrend, and it's a sell indicator. So those are the three methods.